Bitcoin hoodie guy coming back with another KASPA video.
Please like and subscribe KASPA to the moon.
Thanks, Mike. Well, you can see we moved back up over 15 cents, up 1.1%. That's pretty nice. 1.12 exahash, that's looking beautiful. You zoom out, looking real beautiful. In the last 1 year, it has went from 40 petahashes to 1.12 exahash. You can see still number 4, actually, that Aleo is still holding the number 3 spot on the 24-hour mining revenue generated. And yeah, Fractal Bitcoin's 5. Nothing real new to see there. Now moving on to some KRC20 news. You probably already saw this, but Pinex.us, the first U.S. regulated exchange that already listed KASPA, is working with Nacho. You can check out Nacho's post. To finalize the partnership and list Nacho, they need 500 US users, 400 new global users. So that would be cool. Nacho's the blue chip KRC20. You can see it's back up to 51 million. Caspi's up 119% the last 24 hours, 9.4 million. Pepe, I remember it went up to like $900,000 market cap, down to like 300,000. Now it's back to $2 million market cap, up 36%. You can see there's not a lot of trading volume, $23,000 on that, 100,000 on Kaspa. There's not a ton of liquidity. Gold, 5.7 million. That is really, Trump is 131,000. Old Hoodie, 3,300. No trading volume last 24 hours, 154 holders. Now you can see that we dipped back down yesterday. It's about 60,000 fees in Kaspa. I think there's about maybe that's 1% increase for the miners, so not a ton. I think that 600,000 is like a 10% increase. So so yeah, that's there. Take a look at the Bitcoin price, 62,300, up 1.1%. So Kaspa is kind of basically tracking the market there, up 1.7%. I saw where Trump said that Israel should strike Iran's nuclear facilities or something. So I don't know, with the macroeconomic conditions. The job report stuff looked like it came out good yesterday, but you know, sometimes they revise those numbers down, so you never know what to trust with those numbers. It's just interesting with that World Liberty Finance, where it was like last week or something. You could sign up for the whitelist, but you know, originally it was for too long. The average American has been squeezed by the big banks and financial elites. It's time to take a stand together. And right now, in the United States at least, you have to be an accredited investor, which is the average American's not an accredited investor. So maybe that'll change, but initially it doesn't seem like it's something where to get on the white list you have to be an accredited investor is not really the average American. I mean, I think Trump, I hope he wins. I'm not real political. I just think it probably maybe they'll print less money, and that will lead me into my next point. So the world M2 money supply for central banks, you can see an uptick. The Bitcoin magazine didn't show it all the way up till this is shown through August. You can see an uptick there, and this is just the, I think this of the major central banks, just the major central banks. But you can see an uptick, and basically you can see since 1996 up and to the right with a few pullbacks. You can see there's a big pullback kind of there after the COVID printing, but we're going back and up to the right. Now this chart is fiscal data. It's the U.S. Treasury website. It's pretty cool. It shows the outstanding debt, and it actually goes all the way back to 1790 when it was $71 million. And you can see it was tracking there for a while, the $80 million range. It wasn't really going up, and I think there was a time there where the dollar was actually pretty stable in terms of it didn't lose its purchasing power there. 45 million, 100 million, so 18, and then it was once the Civil War, you can see 337,000 back to millions. You can see it was in the 1860s, once we started getting closer towards the Civil War, it got up into the billions, stayed in the billions there for a while, and then even right there, and then World War I, it shot up a little bit more. Then basically still stayed in that $15-20 billion range, and then World War I has shot up a lot, a couple $100 billion, and then kind of stayed there for a little while through the 50s, and then It's got up to 300 billion, and it was really the 70s when Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard. We got up, and then we started working our way up in the 70s, and then by 1980 we're almost to 1 trillion. And then since we got off the gold standard, it really ballooned up until the year 2000, and then since then it's really going parabolic. So part of the theme of this video is please buy 1,367 KASPA, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I think this is just a really cool chart, and you'll see people that are like on X that are really for the BRICS countries, and it's kind of bullshit. BRICS is basically China. Their economy makes up pretty much the whole thing, and a lot of people don't. Do you think a lot of corporations with billions, hundreds of billions of dollars are looking to park that capital in China? I don't think so. The United States still has the best capital markets, and the world is still built around the dollar. And the best case scenario for someone that's holding something that they believe in going value is a slow decline into whatever the new transition into the new monetary system. Something too quick would make it disruptive. Okay, so your KASPA or Bitcoin is very valuable, but you need to have guns, and it's just complete chaos. So we don't know how that transition is going, but this chart really sums up the U.S. inflation, which affects the dollar and affects everyone else. And probably what you'll see is a lot of the smaller currencies collapse. There'll just be 4 or 5 major currencies, and then they're going to try to do their best. But at this point, you can see it's almost getting out of control. And I'm not sure it'll matter who's in office, because this is what they're projecting for the debt in 2028: 4.2 trillion, 1.5 trillion just on defense, 4.2 trillion just on the interest alone. 2.1 trillion on Social Security, 2.43 million on Medicare, Medicaid. So why 1,367 KASPA? So if you take the max supply of KASPA, which is a little over 28.7 billion, and divide that by 21 million, that's 1,366.85. So rounded up to 1,367 gives you the equivalent ownership of having 1 Bitcoin. So you have 1/21 millionth ownership of the KASPA network. And right now at 15 cents, that's like $205. So that's a pretty low risk just to buy 1/21 millionth of a proof of work block DAG that's doing some cool stuff, in my opinion. And whatever it is, you need to invest, I can't give you personal advice. I don't know your situation, and I'm not a financial advisor, but I know that whether you're buying, the S&P 500, which I think it's better to buy like Bitcoin and KASPA, but if you're buying Tesla or, the S&P 500 index funds, you just can't leave your money in cash, and you just got to invest, because this is going to affect everything. And it feels like, where do you think this chart's going? Where do you think this is going to be in the next 20 years? It's going to be way up to 70, 100 trillion. 200 trillion. It's going to probably get pretty bad. So that's my pitch, to buy 1/21 millionth of the KASPA network, and it's only $205. So most likely, if you're watching this video, you probably already have more than that. Also, if you're trying to talk any friends and family into it, that's something that's pretty easy for someone to pull off. For most people around the world, can afford $205. And if you have a small amount like that, you might just want to let it ride. You have a bigger bag, then you might be thinking about profit. So that's all I got. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.